So go ahead and lay back. Make your body relaxed. If the low back is your issues, by the way, this is a spot where you could just keep the knees planted right now. So that way it's not increasing that pressure in the low back. As we're here, start off with a couple of good deep breaths. We're breathing, relaxing. We'll take a moment here to connect with our intention. Today, it's the idea of spaciousness. There's a lot of gratitude that I'm experiencing this month. And so spaciousness was my big gratitude for today. I'm thinking of spaciousness in multiple regards, both internal focus for ourselves and externally focused. In the internal focus, the spaciousness comes in comparison to contractions. So moments when things feel tighter, whether this is clenching fists, clenching jaw, clenching shoulders, that relaxation helps us feel more space. Also, spaciousness in letting go, like that idea metaphorically of unclenching, letting go of some of the ego things, letting go of some objects, some definitions of who we've always been, because that and friends and all sorts of things in life will constantly change. So that's the first half of this spaciousness. The second half has to do with spaciousness for others. There's a phrase that I learned. I don't think I had really heard of it before, but I learned doing my breathwork training, and that is holding space for others. And so what that means is when people are going through really hard emotions, rather than trying to cheer them up and make them happy and distract them, you let them be in that heavy emotion as long as it takes for that emotion to process, needing no need to change anything. Just let them be. And so what that does is it gives the emotion time to kind of work its way out, so it doesn't have to be stuck in the body and repeatedly come up over and over until they address it. So spaciousness for ourselves in unclenching our tension and our things, and spaciousness for others in holding space, letting them be with the hard things. So this is the type of spaciousness that inspires our class today. And the things that we'll do in our body are especially focused on things like twists and strengthening core, like we always do in Yogilates. Those kinds of things bring us to a more contracted state, at least in relation to the intestines. And then we'll fill that in contrast with a couple of different lengthening things that we'll do. Things that start to open up our chest a little bit, things that open our hamstrings a little bit, things like that just create space in the body. So that way we can feel that comparison between moments of length and moments of contraction. And so with that, all of that to get us started, let's begin. The hands can come around to each knee. Let's take a little bit of moment here just to create some space for the low back. So this can be a tender, gentle little rocking left and right. Just keep it easy, keep it slow. Take it maybe 2 or 3 more times to each side. Okay, back to stillness in the center. Let the arms float open to left and right. Let the knees or the toes float up to about a 90-degree angle at the knee joint. So it's almost like we're in a chair flipped on its back. And so this will be the shape of this next pose. With our inhales, tilt the knees partway to one side. Exhales, bring us back through the center. Inhales, partway to the other side. Don't feel like you have to force it too far if the low back is already aggravated. Exhale back through center. And take it like that a few good rounds. Just inhale, tilt. Exhale, return. This is helping to kind of wake up that low back area. Just a little bit of tender strengthening around that area helps to make it so that it's more stable in its structure. Now, if you'd like to increase the intensity of this, when you tilt to the side, also straighten and bend the legs to that angle. When you go to the second side, when you go through the center, it's back to bend. So that second side, you can straighten and bend again. And again, don't feel like you have to tilt all the way down, legs getting close to the ground. That's not what it's about. Sometimes that would aggravate the low back. Just find the angle that feels good for the body. A little bit longer. Maybe about 3 more to each side. Two more each. And 1 each. Good. And then let's ease into a nice little simple twist. The knees fall over to left. Give the low back time and space to open up. Twists are kind of funny because in relation to the intestines, twists are kind of wringing them out. It's really tight, really contracted and condensed. Even in relation to the back muscles, it can feel like it's pulling it really tight. But for me, at least, whenever I release a twist, the back generally feels better. And sometimes my vertebrae gets so tight, it's like you get those little gas bubbles inside your vertebrae. And sometimes I'll purposely grab a chair so I can kind of get some of the pops out of my back. So this is that chance, just a couple of slow, easy breaths. Get some space into that area. More inhale. Soft exhale. Take the knees back up. Let's tilt them over to the second side. Let's give the same space, the same permission for this half to open. More breaths. And letting that low back come back to the ground, nice and stable. Let the legs stretch up to sky. What we're going to do here with our inhale is stretch the arms up overhead. With our exhale, touch both forearms to the outer right thigh. And then inhale back up to the top. Exhale, touch outer left thigh. And return. Just back and forth with the breath. Switching the thigh each time. This is nice because that low back is solid on the earth. There's no aggravation there. And yet we're still getting not only the twist, but also the core movement all at the same time. Try to get as much of the shoulders off the ground as possible. The higher you lift, the more it strengthens the back. You're still doing okay. Let's take 5 more each. 5. And 5. 4. And 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Now fingers right up above you. 10 times in pretty quick succession. We're going to reach our fingers up to our toes really quickly. So take a huge inhale. Exhale, pump up. Try to touch toes. 10, 9, 8, 7. Just a little crunch. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Grab onto the backside of right leg. Drop the left leg down. We're going to create space on the right hamstring for a moment. So notice if the natural tendency is to have this bent knee. If so, lower it down to an angle where the leg can be straightening. Okay, if it's still not perfect, but it's at least including all the length of the hamstring muscle fibers. Here, as you can start to feel the hamstrings relax into this place, the idea is gradually using the arm strength to pull the leg just a little bit closer. It's not a game of inches. It's not going to be jumps each exhale. It's a game of millimeters, just pulling a little bit deeper. Then a little bit more. About 3 more breaths. Okay, let's switch to second leg. So left leg comes up, switch hands to that side, drop the right leg down. Leg is lengthening. Once you've got it as long as possible, start with some slow, deep breaths. Try to help those muscles relax into this shape. When they're pretty relaxed, game of millimeters. Maybe each exhale invites just a little bit deeper. More inhale. Exhale. Let the right leg float above the ground. And we're going to do straight leg switches. So, right leg up, left leg up, back and forth. If you need to make it easier, don't drop it quite so far down. If you need to make it harder, don't use the hands. You've got some options. Stick around for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let the knees bend. Clasp the hands around the right knee. Slide the left leg back long to ground. So from here, to help ease the low back, what we're going to do a couple of times is let the right knee open out wide to the right, and then pass the right knee to the left hand, partial twist. So that moment when the hip starts to lift off the ground, how nice that is on the low back. So a couple of rounds with that. Inhale, open. Exhale, partial twist. And next time you're at that spot where the hip is just starting to lift off the ground, you can stay if this is a good twist for you. Other options, if you really don't feel much, either outer hip or low back, other options would be straighten the right leg to that tilted angle. That would get you more into IT band if that's what's tight for you. Or back to bent knee. Just deepen the twist any amount with the bent knee shape. So choose what feels best for your body. Give it just a couple more breaths. Okay, return right hip to ground. Slide it long. Left knee in, give it a hug first. Let's take a couple of those moments, passing it open. And then partial twist just to the point where it's kind of starting to lift off the ground. I love that partial twist too because it creates space in the sacral joint where the sacrum meets the hips. And that can be really nice because that area tends to be where some low back pain arises. Sometimes it's a bit higher, but sometimes this will just help to loosen up the tight iliosacral joint. So the next time it starts to cross over, if you like that point, kind of like the IT band with the hip just starting to lift off the ground, that's fine. If you want to straighten the left leg to get the IT band a little bit more, that's fine. Or if you prefer to have the bent knee, just deepening in a twist for the low back, that's fine. Find the spot that feels helpful. Try to breathe into the belly, helping to massage that compressed state for 3 more breaths. When the left hip returns to the ground after the 3 breaths, keep it bent in. We're going to have both hands around that left knee. I like to put the left hand around the shin, the right hand around the knee, and float the right leg. From here, switch. So the right hand's at the right shin, left hand at the knee, then go back, switch. You could lift up the neck and the head. That would increase a little bit of the core strength, but if it gets tiring in the neck, just drop it back down. Try to maintain the same angle of extension for both legs. It's okay to be higher again, it's easier. Lower to ground is harder. Let's take 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the feet down, planting on floor. The right hand opens up to the right side on the floor. The left hand is behind the head. With a nice inhale, it's a prep. The exhale, we twist that left elbow up, trying to lift it up to the sky. Crunch and down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax the head for a moment as you start to switch the arms. Let that neck have the release. Another inhale, prep. Exhale, right elbow lifts up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Head relaxes back down. Hands go on the floor by the hips. Let's take some bridge poses. So hips roll up. Take it slow the first time. Inhale the whole length up. Exhale the whole time, dropping back down. And this massage through the low back as you're in that moment where you push it back into the ground. Another 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Take a rest for a moment. We'll repeat similar things to the last 3 movements we just took. Just adding a little variation each time, but let the body and the mind just take a moment of spaciousness. Huge moment to take a breath in and out. Okay, so this time, clasp both hands behind the head. The left knee comes in. The right leg extends out. Choose your angle. And as we're here, twist the right elbow to the left knee. And then switch. Left elbow to right. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest the head down for a moment. Plant the feet. Right arm opens out to the right side. Left hand behind the head. Right leg up to sky. So from this shape, we're going to do the same type of crunch. That left elbow tries to just lift up and down. We're just going to go for 5 in this position. So lift up as high as you can. 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1. Right ankle to the left thigh. Crunch up even higher if you can toward that right knee. So we've still got on the right side. Yep, it's just ankle to thigh now. Still left hand, yep, you got it. Okay, so even higher if you can crunch up to the thigh. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Head down, hands slide to the floor by the hips, keeping this ankle up. We're going to try to take 5 bridge poses from here. So inhale, lift, even peek up to make sure hips stay level. Exhale, lower down. 4, 3, 2, 1, and thread the needle, figure 4, clasp the hands around that left side while we allow this right hip to open. More huge breath in and out. Uncross the ankle, both hands behind the head. Extend the left leg out. Twist the left elbow to the right knee. And switch back and forth, opposite elbow to knee. A nice exhale each time you're coming up. Here is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the head. Drop the feet. Left leg up to sky. Left arm at the side. Right hand behind head. Hopefully we got all that. So 5 crunches, lifting the right elbow up and down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now left ankle to right thigh. Try to lift more of your back off the ground if you can. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Release the head, hands on the floor by the hips. 5 bridges. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Figure 4 hug. Good work. Now as we uncross the ankle, we're going to take it to happy baby. That's one of my favorite poses when my low back is having some issues. So just listen to what's going to be useful. Some days just holding still in happy baby, the hips trying to open like this. Sometimes that's exactly what it needs. Sometimes it needs that tender little rocking left and right. Or some days it's hamstring tightness that's affecting you. So tilt all the way to one side. The hamstring can straighten up to sky. And switch. Just listen to what needs that patience, that ease in your body. Good. So release. We're going to roll like a ball 3 or 4 times. On the last one, staying in boat pose. So this one's a little massage for the back. Good. Ready to be up? Maybe the next one. Stay in boat. Hands on thighs, easier. Hands releasing harder, but it could be too much for the low back, so just listen. And what we're gonna do 10 times is extend the leg a little further out, squeeze it a little closer in. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cobbler's pose. Good work. Let the spine release forward. Good relaxation. Let's even ease into the neck a little bit. Let your right ear roll over to the right shoulder. Left ear rolls over to left shoulder. Over to right. left. One more time, right. One more time, left. Drop back, head heavy in the center. Good. Rising up. Pick up the knees again to boat. We're going to do the same thing where the legs are extending out and sliding in. This time, the elbows touch one thigh and then elbows touch the other thigh. So adding in that twisting aspect. So here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Plant the hands behind you. Lift the hips up. Tricep dips. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hips down. You can leave the hands as we come back to boat or float bicycles. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Feet back together, sliding a bit further forward. This one helps me to ease my low back a little bit more. Let the head relax and just stay in the center at first. We'll switch it shortly. Walk the hands a bit further to the right. Get to that spot where it feels like good length for left low back, creating space in that area. Okay, let's slowly ease through the center over to second side. Let's go back to the center. Sitting up tall. Open the legs out wide. So with this one, when we inhale, we return to the center, which is this spot, arms level with the shoulders, sitting up in the center. When we exhale, we twist to one side and the opposite pinky finger tries to saw off the opposite pinky toe. Inhale, tall center. If you don't quite reach, that's okay. Pick a shin spot instead. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Drop the right hand in front of the right leg. Do start to lean to that right side. The left hand will start off reaching up and over, but then we're gonna work a big circle around that shoulder joint to ease up the shoulder muscles. So start off with the left hand dropping down in front of you. Trace as wide as you can through that shoulder joint, tracing back, and then back to the start, and then reverse, going backwards as far as it can, all the way around. End up at the top. Now drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Leave the torso in the head, but the left arm is going to drop down and pull to the side until you feel that left shoulder stretching. Good. Torso gently raises up. Second side, left hand down. Start to lean. Right arm up and over. Trace forward. Round as wide as you can for that shoulder. And then reverse. Pausing right up at top. Drop the left ear to left shoulder. The right arm drops down until you feel that right shoulder pull back. Good opener. Good, easing up. And let's take that little stretch, sliding forward and through. Okay, so we're turning up. Let's slide the legs underneath the body. We're going to take a plank position. In our plank position, you're going to take the right knee in, but then twist it under to the left shoulder. And then left knee into the right shoulder, trying to get it under as much as you can. If wrists are bad, you can drop down to forearms, that's fine. If the plank is hard, you can lift almost partway to down dog and then shift forward and backward. So do the variations you need to be comfortable. Yep, begin when you're ready. 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Lower the knees down. Allow yourself to take a toe stretch. So toes tuck behind you. We're starting to sit our hips back to our heels. If your toes can't take any more, stay with the hands forward. If you can handle your whole body weight coming up, some people can, some people can't. Take it all the way up. Any point that it gets too intense, just drop forward again to the point where it's manageable. We'll try to maintain this spot for just a little bit. Go 2 more deep breaths. That second one, slide forward. Start to let the toes circle out. Yep, sometimes it's nice to pound them out. Okay. So from here, let's go back to a plank, and what we're gonna do is kind of the opposite. Rather than the knee coming underneath to cross, it's gonna go wide. So right knee to right shoulder wide, kind of like a Spider-Man. So choose the plank that you can maintain and begin. And here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Drop down. Point the toes. Sit the hips back onto pointed feet. And then the idea here, left hand comes to the left side. You're leaning a little bit to that side so that right hand can pick up the right foot. If this is tight enough that you can't, continue to slide any amount over to that left side, even completely getting your hip to the ground until you can get that part to stretch. And let's lower the right and pick up the left. One more time, right. And left. Good. Come forward and through, circle the toes or count them out. Good. So one more time in plank pose. This one can be elbow plank, especially if the wrists have gotten quite a bit, just done quite a bit recently. What we're gonna do from plank is rock forward and backward with the toes so that it's like the head is a battering ram, just rocking forward and back. So get yourself set up. And here's 10, 9, 8, 7, feel those feet mobile, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the knees wide into child pose. Set the hips back and stretch forward and through. We're also going to take a shoulder stretch from here. So leave the left arm, thread the right shoulder under and through. Just switch the shoulder. Unwind the shoulder, just a couple more breaths, child pose. This is another one that could feel amazing for that low back, depending on exactly where your tight spots are. Okay, let's travel to a seated place. From seated, we're gonna give a baby cradle rock to the right leg. So rock that hip out, a couple of easy cycles. Good. Drop it to shin stack if you can. If that's too much for knee or hip, it could be cross leg instead. And we're gonna take just a moment on this foot. So if you've got a sock, you can put it back on in just a moment, but remove the sock. And what we're gonna do is thread the left fingers into those right toes, right in between them. Sometimes you can't get much of your finger, that's okay, just do the best that you can. Whenever you have it the best possible, try to muscularly spread the fingers out, creating more space inside of the toes. Okay, now fingers relax. Now the toes try to muscularly squeeze in to the fingers. It's almost just nice as a pressure point massage for that one. Good, relax. And then using those fingers, manipulate the foot in ways that will help to stretch any spots that need it. So you could twist the foot, you could point and flex the foot, you could kind of wave it like a hand, just kind of trying to get it to shake out. Just get a couple more moments through anything that feels like it'll help to loosen it up. Good. So at this point, as you release, if you had a sock on and you want to replace it, you can. And then we're going to take a little twist upright with the spine over the right shoulder. Over the left shoulder. And then through the center, slide forward and through. If you need to drop it to cross leg at this point, go right ahead. Give that low back another little gift here from this low spot. Walk your hands a little further to the right. A little further to the left. Through the center. And ease up. Good. So another side, you can feel how much circulation, how alive that side is. So let's give the baby cradle a rock to left when you're ready. Good. And that feels pretty good in the hip. Try to see if the shin stack is possible. If not, the other is also fine. You guys are good. You already removed your socks. Start to thread the fingers inside of the toes. So it's right hand to that left foot. When you get it there, fingers try to spread muscularly out. Fingers relax. Toes try to squeeze muscularly inward. And relax. Then let it have any movement that feels good for this. Pointing, flexing, twisting, waving. More than anything else, thinking of that idea of space, spaciousness through this foot. Good. Whenever you're happy, release. If you wanted to replace sock right now, that's fine. Then upright. Take a twist over left shoulder when you're there, no rush. Twist over right shoulder. Slide forward and through. Walk the hands a little bit to the left. Through the center to go to the right. Back to the middle. A bonus breath in and out. And here we prepare for Shavasana. If there's tightness in the hips by this point, maybe take some windshield wipers. And if there's any last other stretches your body needs before its final release to Shavasana, take your time to do those last things. Some might be ready at this point just to drop down, so that's fine too. Just start to explore until you feel that ultimate readiness for Shavasana today. No rush if you're still getting there. But think of today, the Shavasana. Think of spaciousness in your body. Imagine if you had a powerful enough microscope and you're zooming in further and further and further and further. I imagine the inside of my body that close up resembles almost like the stars in the night sky. It's like the more you zoom in, the more space you realize is there. So let yourself just simply be in spaciousness. For the next few minutes is our Shavasana. Let's begin to deepen our inhales. Our exhales. Introduce little movements back to the body, fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out in ways that feel really good. Perhaps a fetal position if you wish. Taking time to enjoy maybe another 3 or 4 good deep cycles of breath. Here with hands at the heart, let's return back to the concept of spaciousness. After having experienced different aspects of it in our bodies, aspects of how tight it is to twist versus the expansiveness of stretching, we return back to the idea of internal spaciousness, releasing tension, releasing attachments, and external holding space for others, giving them permission and space to learn the lessons they need to in their life. So with these ideas, with all this spaciousness to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together. The sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.